You know, I was pretty nervous on Monday when we went to Palace, and
really?
justifiably so in
Absolutely,
the end.
yeah.
How about you?
Well, anything that's got some jeopardy riding on it, really. Going out of the Champions League, like United played Atletico, didn't they, in the last round? That was pretty nerve-wracking. Again, justifiably so. But interestingly, Pep said in an interview with us last week that he got more nervous for matches like Burnley away than Champions League finals. Work that one out. Anyway, let us know what you think.
And he normally wins Burnley away as well.
He does, yeah.
Yeah. Champions League finals a bit different. Speaking of which, let's get to the Etihad and speak to Richie Driss. He's going to be wrapping up those Champions League games for us. Obviously, we'll start with Manchester City as he's in Manchester. They got that all-important goal, didn't they, Richie? Eventually, great goal it was too. De Bruyne against Atletico, who were very stubborn. It was a pretty tough game overall. Manchester City had to work really hard.
Yeah, it was anything but straightforward for Pep Guardiola's team against a very typical, you've got to say, Diego Simeone team who, let's be honest, played 5 at the back and then looked to play 5 in front as well to provide such resilience. And of course, always with an Atletico Madrid team, were very, very defensive, very, very disciplined. And it took until the 70th minute for Kevin De Bruyne to eventually slot home. But this was due to Phil Foden, who came on as a substitute to provide a brilliant through ball, nutmegging the defender for Kevin De Bruyne to provide that finish, to put Man City into a fairly strong position. And then Phil Foden just went on from there. He looked like he was playing in the playground with his mates at school. He provided some brilliant runs into the box and really was incisive with his play. And you've got to say as well that Atletico Madrid have got it all to do in the return leg, because they can't sit back like they did here last night and play that 5 at the back and 5 just in front. They have to go and try and score against this Man City team. So it's all to play for in the second leg. Yeah,
I think you're being complimentary, Richard. It was more like a 10-1 from where I was looking, the way that Atletico defended. Liverpool also in action last night, also teed up the game against City this weekend with a win as well. Maybe that victory was a little bit more expected, though, against Benfica.
Yeah, definitely a lot more routine for Liverpool away to Benfica. They eventually won the game 3-1 with goals from Konate, Mane, and you've got to say the brilliant Luis Diaz, who looked like he's really stamped his authority on this Liverpool team since only signing in January. He looks like he's been playing for them with them for years and years. As I said, it was a fairly routine win, and Liverpool could have been outside if it wasn't for some truly brilliant goalkeeping from the Benfica goalkeeper, whose name I'm not even going to begin to try and pronounce, that's for sure. Jurgen Klopp said in his post-match interview that they're not quite in dreamland yet. And speaking of dreamland, this could be evident with Mohamed Salah, who cut quite a frustrated figure in the Liverpool shirt last night. He didn't get his goal, and also he's off the back of course, Egypt getting dumped out of the World Cup before the tournament even begun to Senegal, of course. And a couple of months ago, Egypt lost to Senegal in the African Cup of Nations final. And of course, when it comes to his teammate as well, Sadio Mane, of course, there's probably some potentially back and forth in the changing room between them with regards to that. But not only that, there's also the contract negotiation. So he's really out to prove himself in the run into the final few matches of the season as well. So it'll be very interesting to see where that leads.
Those games are done and dusted now, those first legs, Richie. We all know what's coming next. The next few days are going to be season defining for these two sides.
Yeah, most definitely. It's a really good opportunity for Salah to finish the season very strongly, and it's a quite thrilling next few days. Of course, the return legs of the Champions League come next week, but before that, Liverpool are playing Manchester City this weekend at the Etihad on Sunday the 10th, and then it's of course the return Champions League matches, both on the 13th, City away, Liverpool at home, before they once again play each other in the FA Cup semi-final. So it's going to be fascinating, particularly how they rotate their squads. Liverpool, of course, running out 3-1 winners, as I said last night, which gives them maybe an opportunity to rotate their squad a little bit more than Manchester City. But it's going to be absolutely fascinating and wonderful stuff for all football fans, unless you, of course, support the red side of Manchester, Ian.
Thank you, Richie. Ow.
He did not
right there.
He did not need that. He did not need that. Don't worry, we've got a Manchester United legend coming up later on the show that'll make him feel a bit happier.
Up, won't he?
Yeah, he will, yeah. Thanks very much, Richie. Catch up soon. Odysseus, by the way, that's the name of the Benfica goalkeeper.
Oh, really?
I can't remember his surname, but Odysseus.
Very impressive, yeah. Thank you, Richie, and thank you for that little dig at the end. Yes, Wes Brown coming up in part 3 to talk about Manchester United's troubles, which is something to look forward to for all of us, I'm sure. Right, we can speak more about the matches last night then with Wayne Walker from Rush over in the Caribbean. Wayne, what time is it there?
It's exactly 4 minutes past 4 in the morning.
Wow. Have you been up all night watching these matches and waiting to speak to us?
You bet.
Yep. Absolutely love your dedication then. Who was worth staying up for then, Liverpool or Manchester City?
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, on the strength of what both teams have done, coming into this blockbuster on Sunday, you'd want to think that the wind is blowing a bit stronger in Liverpool's back. They've both gotten the results that they need, both domestically and in Europe. But if you look at the way Liverpool has gone about their business of getting the results, there's a little swagger about them, and you get the impression that they're approaching the zone where they're saying, bring on all comers, we're ready to go. And that can be very, very dangerous. And both teams have no choice but to get the results because they know any slip will benefit the other. So they're feeding off each other at the minute. Having said all of that, we know that blockbusters like these, on the day of days for these two teams, where the world is going to be looking on, the title decider, you name it, you can ascribe anything you want to. What they've done coming into the game will count for very little, if at all. They've got 90 minutes to sort it out, And you just get the impression that Liverpool has a little bit more to do because they've not won a Premier League game at the Etihad in 2015. They've just beaten the City once in the last 8 Premier League games. And the manner in which City stepped into Anfield in October for that thrilling game last year, it reminds us that there are patches and there are moments when Manchester City, if they're ready, they're pretty much untouchable. And there were moments in that game at Anfield that they approached that sort of zone. They touched the heights, really. And it was unfortunate for them to leave with a 2-2 draw. Having said all of that, I think this is the best time for Liverpool to beat City at the Etihad if it's going to happen. And if they do, you just get the impression that the race is going to still be tight. If City wins, I think it's going to be over because when you look at their running, they've got far more winnable games than Liverpool. But I tell you what, this game can't fail to spark. I wish I could bring Sunday forward.
We all agree with that, to be honest. We cannot wait for it. Do you have any worries at all about City at the moment? Liverpool, as you say, they're sweeping all before them. City occasionally, they can't quite fire, perhaps. Burnley, they missed a few chances in the second half. They've also had 4 0-0 draws this season in all competitions. I haven't checked Liverpool stats, but I'd imagine they haven't had as many as that. Is that a concern at all?
If you break it down like that, yes, it would concern me if I was a Manchester City fan. Liverpool has no business being here today. Not when you look at January 15, Manchester City was sporting a 14-point gap. But as you mentioned, those little results against the teams that you expected them to sort of hit out the way, en route to retaining their title. I mean, Manchester City has lost to Tottenham Hotspur at the Etihad, which means it can be done. That result against Crystal Palace was also hurtful to them. So yes, if you look at it and break it down that way, you're going to be a little concerned if you're a Manchester City fan. But then you're going to also seek solace in the fact that you're leading the league, yeah? And still, if you push me, I would say they're still odds and favored to win it. Who would complain about being at the top of the league? And I prefer to be in City's place than Liverpool. But if you break it down in that granular level to the one you went a while ago, then yes, there's got to be some concern.
Yeah, that's the brilliant thing. You can make a case for either of these teams winning the league, winning on Sunday. And actually, this match has a massive say, doesn't it, in where this Premier League title race is heading, because it's so soon that the end of the season will come, and it feels like it could be a decisive match when you look at the run-ins for the two teams and what they've got left. This could decide it, couldn't it?
It's on the decider, and it's on the decider for a reason. Liverpool has got it tough, They've got 9 games in April in all competitions. And even a team like Liverpool, just as well-drilled, well-conditioned and very fit, even a Liverpool team, it could be tricky for them, 9 games in April. You've got Champions League, then you've got City again in the FA Cup. So they've got it really tough. Plus, immediately after this, they go back home to face Manchester United. They've got Tottenham still to play. City doesn't have that. So the running favours City, and that is why, with all we've said, and with the good run Liverpool is on, it feels like a must-win for them, because if they don't, the winnable games that City will have going forward will spark and push their confidence level to another level. And that is why I think Pep is going to throw everything, including the kitchen sink, at Liverpool on Sunday. It's going to be a belter. It's going to be a belter.
Belter's a great word to use. I imagine Pep's got quite a big kitchen sink as well, so I hope Jurgen Klopp's team is ready for that. Wayne, thank you for staying up to speak to us. It was great to have you on. Thank you.
Good man. Good man.
Yeah, big marble sink, I reckon.
Yeah, really heavy.